Today I'm teaching you guys a tutorial on how to do that popular kind of soft focus look that's really in right now in photography. I usually most of the time use not Lightroom, I'm sorry. I'm doing this in Lightroom right now, but I actually mostly use Capture One. I feel Capture One allows me to edit in a much different way, in a much better way, and it renders raw files better, plus it allows me to work with colors in a much better way overall. But I understand that most people are not kind of brave enough to go into Capture One, so I'm doing this in Lightroom. Either way, though, Lightroom still does a pretty good job of it once you actually understand what's going on. And in order to do that, I'm gonna actually come back to that image. I'm going to bring up this photo right here. Let's do that right now. It's over here. So take a look at this image. This image was shot with Fujifilm FP100C instant film. That's a peel apart film, and this is in 3x4. So this image is actually also shot with an old Polaroid land camera. I believe it's the 185 that had all manual controls, and it was done with studio lighting, camera right. So the Fujifilm 100C didn't really have a whole lot of dynamic range. You had to kind of play with it and got something similar to slide film. But the thing about those cameras and those lenses is that they were really pretty soft. Actually, that look kind of comes from the 80s, and lenses from back in those days were significantly softer compared to modern day lenses. In comparison, these images are shot with the Fujifilm GFX 50S and newer lenses. Those lenses and optics really kind of came out within the last year from when I'm publishing this video, so it's quite a far different reach. I mean, uh, those images, they're influenced by stuff in the 80s, and now this is 2017, so it's a pretty big jump. And in that time, lenses have become more contrasty, there are new coatings, they're just sharper overall. And what everyone's trying to get is kind of like that soft focus look, but it's pretty difficult to get in Lightroom unless you completely understand that. And part of that has to do with contrast and all that stuff. So the way that I am creating my look is I'm doing it based on Fujifilm 100C. I've been working with it for a very, very long time, so I really understand how the film mostly works in many situations. So really what I do is I'm doing something called like the rule of quarters. So basically, it's everything is working in 25 point increments. So it's 25, 50, 75, or a whole. So in order to kind of get this look at first, you have to think about, okay, so they were working with film. Film was balanced more or less to 5500 daylight. So I set my white balance to daylight, and then what I'm usually doing is I'm working with 25% contrast, negative 25 highlights, negative 25 shadows, no, sorry, negative 75 shadows, negative 50 whites, negative 50 blacks, negative 25 on the clarity. It's a really, really simple kind of formula. Bringing sharpness all the way down, bringing the detail all the way down, bringing the smoothness all the way down, and then in addition to that, I also do something with dehaze. So dehaze is kind of newer from Adobe, and when you kind of crank it up, it adds more contrast and gives more sharpness and all that stuff, but you want more haze. So I'm bringing the haze down to negative 25, and I'm also adding a little bit of a vignette. It's also negative 25 there. So these images were done in the studio, and if we pixel peep, I really genuinely hate pixel peeping, but we'll do it right now. You'll see that we're getting kind of a really soft look on Amanda here. And I'm going to come over here. We're going to see this. And it's still pretty soft. Versus, let me show you the original. So that's the original, and that's pretty contrasty. And then this is what I'm doing. See how much softer that became? It's kind of like you're putting like a piece of glass over the lens and also putting some Vaseline. So, obviously this is happening in the studio. I wanted to show what it looks like when it happens outside. And if you overexpose, that's kind of what it looks like as well too. If I wanted to bring that down a little bit, I could, and I'd get something kind of like that. Again, I'm working in kind of 25 point increments because I feel like that's just safer. And then same thing there. So this is really simple. I'm writing a post about it on the Phoblographer, and you'll be able to see that soon this week. I'll put the link down in the description. And in addition to that, I'm also gonna kind of export my settings to be a preset if you'd like to download it and use it for yourself and experiment however you'd like to. But it's pretty simple to do this overall, and um, there's not really a lot to it. It's just kind of logic and understanding color science and all that stuff. So either way, I hope you guys have a lot of fun with the preset, and I hope you guys kind of understand what went into creating these images based on science and reasoning. So, yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Take care.